Hey guys, Daniel here, and today we're going to be talking about the PS4 Pro and 4K Blu-ray, or better yet, lack thereof. So let's go ahead and get right on with it. First off, I want to talk about why people want 4K Blu-ray on the system in the first place. There's really two main reasons I see people mention, and they both kind of go hand in hand. It comes down to internet and quality. Currently in many countries, there's either really slow internet or, really restricting data caps that make streaming just not viable. Even here in the US, many people don't have great internet. More and more ISPs are implementing data caps, and it means streaming is just going to cost people in overages. I know that in my area, data is limited at about 250 gigabytes with Comcast, although for some reason they're currently not enforcing it, which is a good thing for me because I use quite a lot of data. And even if you are one of the lucky ones and happen to have great internet and no data caps, you still won't be able to get even close to the same level of quality that Blu-rays can provide. 4K Blu-rays can hold up to like 100 gigs of data. I think it's like 66 to 100 gigs. And that's used for, sharper video, better colors, way better audio, and so on. There's just so many things that you can get that you just can't with streaming. No streaming service is going to have the option to offer a couple-hour movie at even half of that size. Sure, you can still get pretty great 4K streaming, but it's not the same. Generally, the way I look at it, 4K streaming is about the quality you can get out of a 1080p Blu-ray. 8K, like 8K streaming on YouTube, is about the same quality you'd get out of like high-quality 4K content. So it's just kind of a step down. Now, all of those benefits come at a cost, though. 4K Blu-rays are pretty expensive. They range from $20 to $30, with most of them on the higher end of that spectrum. And each movie could pay for 3 months of Netflix at that point. When you look at it that way, it's really not surprising that physical media is slowly fading away and being replaced by streaming services. And that's exactly why Sony is doing this. Here's the thing. Sony can see roughly what percentage of their user base is actually using Blu-ray, and they know even less of that will actually use 4K Blu-ray. They wouldn't choose to not include this if it meant, not supporting something that most of their player base would actually utilize. Like me, there are, plenty of people that would want it, but like me as well, plenty of people that would never actually get a good use out of it. I can't think of, since I bought the PS4, one movie that I've bought on Blu-ray. It's been a long time. And that ultimately is why I think they really made the right decision with this. If they did include 4K Blu-ray, that would mean an increased cost to the system. If I had to make an educated guess, I'd say it would be safe to assume that the PS4 Pro would cost say $50 more if they included 4K Blu-ray playback. Just the hardware alone in the Xbox One S costed Microsoft roughly $15 from what I've read. And then you'd have to look at paying potentially additional licensing fees for the technology. So it's going to cost extra. A lot of people don't really think about that. They just think, it shouldn't cost Sony anything extra because they quote-unquote made Blu-ray, is what I've seen people say a lot. And that's just simply not true. Sony was part of making the spec, and they are on the board of directors for the Blu-ray Disc Association. But you know who else is on the board? Microsoft. If the Xbox One S didn't have 4K Blu-ray, it likely would have been able to sell for $250 at a minimum instead of $300. And, after all the revised consoles, the whole point of those is to cut costs. And, $50 may not seem like a big deal to some people, but with all that Sony's trying to do with making virtual reality mainstream, every single dollar counts. And when you can offer, better visuals for VR at a whatever cost you can get it down to, that really does matter. This is all something I will actually touch on a bit more in depth pricing-wise in my PS4 Pro versus Xbox Scorpio video. So if you want to see that, make sure and subscribe so you don't miss it. That being said, I really would have liked 4K Blu-ray on the PS4 Pro, but when I actually thought about it and broke it all down, I think Sony made the right call. So feel free to leave a comment down below and let me know what you guys think. Did they make the right choice, or did they make a huge mistake with this? I'd love to know your thoughts. That all being said, that's going to wrap it up for this talk about the PS4 Pro and 4K Blu-ray. So if that's all you're here for, then, you guys can leave. If you do want to know some more about my channel, though, there's one thing that I wanted to mention just as kind of like a mini update. On Wednesdays, I'm going to just, in general, post videos similar to this where I have some random gameplay playing in the background. I throw up some images to help get my point across, but where it's generally just me talking about a subject. Most of the time that subject will be technology and gaming. In fact, probably all of the time it'll be in that field. Like every once in a while I'll do like off videos, but for example, I'll have a video about Xbox One versus Scorpio, one about, PS4 Pro and 4K, some about certain types of technology, maybe like iPhone versus Android, just like general thoughts type thing. These are always just going to be me just kind of talking. And so if that interests you guys, I just kind of want to let you know what to expect on Wednesdays. I don't know exactly which time I'll be uploading them. Maybe later in the day. We'll see. I'm still figuring out time of day to upload my videos. So if you guys have any suggestions for that, feel free to let me know, whether it's on Twitter or here. Probably would prefer Twitter personally. So if you guys want to tweet me, let me know. Thank you again.